has not worked out for Zulfikari, third in the championship. Now he gets a little bit of momentum. Off the road goes Bogdan Cosmo Christopher. And Bosco Arias as well follows him through. Luka Roykov up into 7th place in the second half of pre-final 8 for 60 Mini. Iskander Zulfikari will need to make a move soon. If not, John Matteo Russo will try and jump the Turk as they ride the bumps out of the final corner. With now 2 laps remaining. A 102.550. John Matteo Russo, 102.550. There he is on the back of Iskander Zulfikari on this, the penultimate lap of the race. Dean the Dutchman. In position 1 is Hugendorn. Iskander Zulfikari has not attempted to make a pass yet. Disregard the graphic at the top of your screen. This is the penultimate lap of the race. This is one of the final opportunities for Iskander to make his move. That is Bogdan Cosmo Christopher. He was back to P9 off the start. The abandoned cards of Manuel Martufi, Giuseppe Noviello on the infield. They'll get the last lap board next time round. Here's an opportunity for Iskander. Still he waits. Russo is not close enough. The last lap, the Öste Ronde for Dean. As now he goes defensive and Iskander makes his move down the inside, just drives on by. Russo takes his teammate Hugendorn, who's led from the start, from pole position, including under full course yellow, back into P3. Russo, the Panamanian, can he attack Iskander? That is Bogdan Cosmo Christopher for team driver as well in position 4. Looks over his right shoulder back to Riven Esteves. In fact, the Swiss driver has been passed by Bosco Arias. Up the back straight for the final time. Iskander goes defensive. White lines it. Watch Cosmo Christopher on the outside. The 2 Kiddix Driver Academy pilots in 2nd and 3rd. The final lap of pre-final A. Iskander Zulfikari may have waited to take the lead, but now he's about to be attacked. Watch him white line it. In fact, watch Cosmo Christopher in 4th place. He'll hang out wide. He does. He'll get an incredible run. Can Cosmo Christopher take all 3 of them? Up the inside, they are side by side. Across the line, that checkered flag waves. And the victory goes to Dean the Dutchman. Hugendorn fights back. The championship is far from over yet. Hugendorn wins. Zulfikari second by 0.02 of a second. And Bogdan Cosmo Christopher in 3rd place. Luka Malbasha just crosses the line now, does see the checkered flag with a belted card down in P22. Dean takes the victory from Iskander Zulfikari, Bogdan Cosmo Christopher and Jean Matteo Russo in position 4. Dean with the victory by 0.02 of a second. Fought back well. Did Hugendorn from pole position. Zulfikari P2 from Cosmo Christopher. And John Matteo Russo in P4. Esteves, Bosco Arias, Christian Blandino, Emilio Byrne, Barguti, and Luka Roykov in position 10. Pre-final B in just a moment for 60 Mini. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment, live from SARNO.
Never come before. never gone before. We have sworn to mend the bond that we have torn. Brings the storm in the wind. We've never been before. We have sworn to mend the bond that we have torn.
back here at SARNO, just a little bit behind schedule due to an incident previously, but we'll take a look at the grid for you as pre-final B comes out onto the circuit with Noah the Brit starting alongside Keelan the American on the front row of the grid. Vladimir Ivanikov, William Kalija, Baresh Guntal, Mariano Lopez, Nicholas Stanley, Bruno Grich, and Bruno Blanco out of 10. Manuel Miguez, Valerio Villapiana, Matvey Dergunov, BVS, and Jayu Shen, who was on the podium at Franciacorta. Melvin Kalausian, Kasper Reipold, Ramik Samchik, Jonathan Landstrom, and Shuslovsky is out of 20. Ella Hakkinen, Antonio Bonomo, Il Buffetto, Giuseppe Caramadre, and Maria Vavrona. The Czech, she starts on the 12th row of the grid. Well, Noah Bagland has already won a couple of pre-finals on his debut season in WSK competition. The brilliant Brit starts out a pole position alongside the second generation racer. It's just ticked over to 6 o'clock in the morning in Charlotte, North Carolina, hometown of Keelan, who's looking for a breakthrough victory. He starts out of grid 2, 530 for Team Baby Race. This is pre-final B for the 60 mini category. The English-speaking drivers lock out the front row of the grid with Vladimir on the second row, 14 Gamoto, and Billy C now with Team Baby Race on the second row of the grid. Baglin, the Brit, on pole position, just chokes the engine ever so slightly. Looks over to his left, they come up to the line. And we don't race. Another formation lap here. Baglin starting out of pole position, has had a brilliant start to 2023, the British driver in the iCart entry. Keelan Harvick, first full year of racing in WSK competition. A couple of starts in 2022. First WSK race was the Mini Super Cup at Le Conca last year, which takes place again on the 10th of June. The second running of the WSK Mini Super Cup on June the 10th into summertime in the beautiful south of Italy at Le Conca Murolacese World Circuit, where Keelan made his WSK debut. Noah Baglin, the Brit, in the iCart entry. Overseen by Shane McFadden, who had so much success with current Mercedes Formula One driver George Russell around about a decade ago when George was dominating world karting, particularly with the Forza Racing team and the Intrepid Racing team. Noah starting on pole position. Vladimir Ivaninkov for Team Gamoto on the second row of the grid. Gamoto, the Sicilian team, they've had so much success in 60 Mini over the past decade. They took the WSK Supermaster Series title in 2015 with Dennis Hauger now racing in Formula 2. As Ilya Pereshkin, the team driver, just runs into the back of his countryman Ivaninkov, who pushes the Brit up to the line. And this time we race. Harvick on the outside tries to hold on to the high line. He does so. Loses just a single position to Vladimir Ivaninkov. Now he loses a couple more. Up the inside goes Ivaninkov and Ilya Pereshkin in 5.03 for team driver. Harvick back to position 5. His baby race teammate William Kalija has gone through to position 4. That's the CRG of Luke Tal. Just behind in 5.54, started out of grid 6, and he's made a great start as they race down the back straight for the first time. Baglin in position 1. It is on for third place on the opening stages of this race. An incident between Jay Yushen and Valerio Villapiana has put them way down the bottom of the field. They've both rejoined, but they're half a lap behind the leaders who are about to complete their first lap now. Vladimir Ivaninkov makes the move down the inside, and the Brit Baglin back to second place. Vladimir Ivaninkov in Team Gamoto's EKS 512 chassis in P1. Baglin, Harvick back to third. Then it's Pereshkin, William Kalija, Mariano Lopez, Luke Tal, Grich. They go down through turn 2, a tighter line from Baglin. Harvick in second place as Kalija sets a purple sector. Matched by Baglin, matched by Keelan Harvick as well. Lap 2 of 8, pre-final B for 60 Mini. Ivaninkov for Team Gamoto has got the race lead. Harvick and Kalija, they trade positions. The Australian and the American for 3 and 4 for Team Baby Race. Jay Yushen, I can tell you, who was on the podium in position 3. Third place, his first ever WSK podium at Franciacorta 2 weeks ago, has just come across the line now. He's still circulating, but down in 24th and last position. It'll be nigh on impossible for him to repeat the effort here this afternoon, although he'll give it a good shot. He sits in behind Valerio Villapiana, Kalausian, Il Buffetto, and Maria Vavrona. Out front, Ivaninkov from Baglin. There's Harvick, who was in position 3. He's about to be in 7th if Luke Tal can get by in the CRG. Mariano Lopez, the South American, makes his presence felt. Mariano in 5.23 for Team Baby Race. As Vladimir Ivaninkov down the back straight. Head down behind the steering wheel. Over 110 k's an hour for these 60 Mini drivers here at the super fast SARNO circuit. Baglin sits there in P2, had a pre-final victory already at Lonato, the London Cup champion. The British driver in the iCart entry behind Team Gamoto. top speed absolutely critical here at SARNO. We'll check it as they come across the line to get every possible last tenth of a second, every last kilometre an hour. As Noah Baglan clocks 1:10, Keelan Harvick 1:11, 1:10 also for Bruno Gritsch. The Team Gamoto team using the Vampire sprocket, which basically has every second tooth missing to try and reduce friction and give them every possible advantage. Vladimir Ivaninkov with the race lead, 107 k's an hour last time down the start-finish straight, giving the toe to Noah Baglan, who clocked 1:10 through the speed trap. They go down the old back straight. This is half race distance coming up for pre-final B for 60 Mini. Baglan as Boreshka and Kalija can Billy C break through for the first Australian victory in WSK competition since Jimmy James Wharton. And prior to that, it was Jumping Jack Doohan, the Australian 547 in position 4. He's on the back of Boreshka, the Brit. Baglan in second place. Lap 5 of 8. Fastest driver on the circuit is Kalija with a 1:02.821. I speak too soon because Boreshka has just done a 62.784. Boreshka, Ilya for team driver. The front four now in the fight for the lead, including Kalija from Australia, the two Russians, Boreshka and Ivaninkov, and the Brit Baglan in second place. William Kalija on the charge here. As Kasper Reipold further back in the pack has just clocked 111 k's an hour through the speed trap in the LKE-powered Lenzo kart. Baglan retakes the race lead. That was a nice move. And there's Kalija in P3, the driver from Melbourne, trying to go into second place. Baglan's got a nice lead. Can he take another pre-final victory? He's already done it a couple of times in 2023, but unfortunately you don't stand on the podium for winning the pre-final. We'll help with his grid position later on for the final this afternoon. Baglan defending just from Boreshka and Kalija. Ivaninkov drops off ever so slightly. That is Luke Tal van the Netherlands, just ahead of the American Keelan Harvick. The South American, that's the Peruvian Mariano Lopez. Bruno Gritsch a position behind. Baglan's got the race lead with 2.5 laps remaining. You're watching us live on WSK.IT. Round 3 of the WSK Supermaster Series, the championship which dates back to 2010. Round 3 of the 2023 series, the championship to be decided at Cremona on the 30th of April, the 22nd different circuit the WSK promotion has ever raced at in its 18-year history. As you look at the British driver, Noah Baglan, the iCart entry in position 1 with 3.1 kilometres to race. Just under 2 miles for our friends watching on live from the Kings, England. Noah in position 1. There's William in P3. Ilya Boreshka in second place. Luke Tal, Keelan Harvick. Keelan's actually gone by Luke. And the American who started on grid 2 trying to claw his way back into the fight for the lead as Boreshka drives by and takes the Brit Baglan, who's back into second place. He may well be third if the second driver from the British Commonwealth can drive by. He does so, but Baglan takes him. William follows him through. Baglan's back in position 1. Here comes the American. Keelan Harvick on the outside. He knows all about taking the high line, but he runs out of road. He's pushed into the marbles. Luke Tal drives by, and following him through is the Peruvian Mariano Lopez. Last lap of the race, and Noah Baglan back in P1. Just on 1 mile to race for the British driver. Baglan, Ivaninkov, Lopez, Luke now up into P4 from Boreshka, Kalija and Keelan Harvick. They touch down into turn 2. Incredibly, Luke still holds on to position 4. Under attack from Harvick and Kalija, who was fighting for the victory. Keelan Harvick with a 1:02.663, the fastest driver on the circuit, but it doesn't help the American because he's off the fight for the lead of the win for the pre-final here this morning. Baglan Vladimir Ivanenkov for Tingamoto and Mariano Lopez. Lutal in the CRG position 4. 24 drivers taking the start. 24 are about to get the checkered flag. And Vladimir Ivanenkov, it looks as though the Russian for Tingamoto will see it first. Lopez rides the bumps in P3. Ivanenkov goes defensive, aggressively turns in, accelerates. They'll be side by side as they come across the line. The checkered flag does wave. Ivanenkov takes the victory. Baglund P2, Lopez 3, Kalija 4, and Lutal van the Netherlands in the CRG P5. Vladimir Ivanenkov. He's 7th in the championship on 84 points. Sorry, 54 points. P7 overall after the first 2 rounds at Lonato and Franciacorta. But he'll be starting right near the front of the grid, potentially the front row, even possibly pole position. And as we do some mathematics after our 2 pre-finals for 60 Mini here this morning, Vladimir Ivanenkov in contention for the WSK Supermaster Series title here on later today, right here at Circuito Internazionale Napoli. Ivanenkov takes the victory for Tingamoto. Baglund P2, Lopez 3, Kalija, Tal, Harvick with the fastest lap of the race from Bareshkan, Grich, Blanco, and Ramik Samcic for the Kiddies Driver Academy. The pole in position 10. Pre-final A for KZ2 here at one of the fastest circuits in the world. Purpose-built, custom-made for the road racing rockin' ships. They come out onto the circuit with Christian Cannibal Bertuca on pole position. Denner out of 2. And then the reigning champion, Sander van Walstein, Ricardo Longhi. Victor is alongside Alex Maragliano, Jeremy, Adrian Renaudin, Jenna Civico, and Artur Carbonell also for Team CRG. Jean Louillet, Maxim Rem on debut in the young German, is the young German in KZ2. Noshoff, Andreasen, Pavo is alongside Lorenzo, Maxim Orloff, David Trevelov, Maciej Prausch, and Valentino Fritsch for SRP Maranello. Russo, Zuko, Nick Taylor, the Canadian, Thomas Hamburg, Ferdinando Di Auria, Gallasin, Giuliano Holzham, Angelo Bolvino, Flint Schuring. Shouldn't be too into Angelos. We've actually missed Alexander Gubenko, Gabriel Kaiwa, and Victor Turkin. Gabriel, the Costa Rican, who had a massive, spectacular failure on the start-finish straight in one of the heats on Friday afternoon, seizing at over 140 k's an hour. He was fine, the engine was not. Gabriel Kaiwa, the Costa Rican, starting alongside Victor Turkin. KZ2 pre-final A, the championship leader, Christian Bertuca, who has had a stunning start to 2023. Victory in the season opening, WSK Champions Cup. Victory in round 1 of this, the WSK Supermaster Series. He was P3 on the podium at Franciacorta 2 weeks ago. The race, which was won by Tom Louillet for the Tony Kart racing team. Bertuca is the championship leader on 189 points. Tom in second on 119. Emilian Denner for CPB Sport on grid 2 is third in the championship on 77 points. As you look at Sander van Walstein, who missed the first round of the series with a dislocated shoulder. He was back for Franciacorta. He's racing here, but in agony. Dislocated shoulder, scrap that. It's actually broken. He's racing with painkillers. Sander van Walstein still as quick as ever. The courageous Dutch driver, as fast as an eagle. Second row of the grid, 1-2-2 for Senna, alongside Ricardo Longhi. Bertuca on pole position to the right of your screen, electing to start on what is actually grid 2, but it's the clean outside line. As you look at Lorenzo Travisanuto, tough running qualifying, but he came storming home to finish P6 in his final heat yesterday afternoon behind his Paralympic Motorsport teammate Francesco Cialenta. Bertuca to the right of your screen on pole position, Denner to the left. KZ2 pre-final A here, round 3, the WSK Supermaster Series, live from SARNO. We race. Fabulous start from Denner, who rockets down into the lead. Bertuca, the choice to start out of grid 2, did not pay off. He's now being hounded by the reigning champion, Sander van Walstein. Good start by Alex Maragliano, just ahead of a trio of CRGs, including Jeremy, the Jet, Iglesias, Victor Gustafsson, and Artur Carbonell. But it is Denner in P1 as they race up the back straight for the first time at frightening speeds here in KZ2. Bertuca slips down the inside and he goes back to position 1. Christian Il Cannibal, the driver from Milan in the north of Italy, goes back into first place. CPB Sport second and third, with Denner and Sander van Walstein. Ricardo Longhi for the Birla team, 172. Alex Maragliano with a super start. The Sicilian for Maranello, SRP, the driver from the south of Italy, who won the WSK Final Cup at the end of 2022. They come racing down through turn 1 at ferocious speed. well over 140, even 150 k's an hour, the top speed recorded so far through the speed track this weekend, 153 k's an hour. The CPB Sports Soddy Karts retake the lead with an aggressive pass. And now the CRG drivers of Victor Gustafsson and Artur Carbonell try and gang up and take the Birillard driver. Senna Van Wallstein right in the middle of your screen, missed the first round of the championship. With that dislocated, make that broken shoulder, he was back for Franciacorta, competitive as ever. Comes across the line in position 2. Riccardo Longhi, now the top Birillard driver. As Bertucca falls down the field, he's actually come across the line that time in position 11. So Bertucca in trouble, losing momentum, losing rhythm. Let's hope he doesn't have a mechanical problem as the CPB Sports Soddy Karts pull away. There's Riccardo Longhi, now flying the flag for the team from Missone. Behind him is Victor, the reigning world champion, one of 5 world champions in the KZ2 field here this weekend. Down the inside, what a move by Victor! Just centered by Riccardo Longhi. And Alex Marigliano followed him through the Sicilian in the SRP tuned Maranello kart up into 4th place. Riccardo Longhi, the 2-time WSK Euro Series champion, comes across the line in position 5. Now being hounded by the 2020 world champion, Jeremy the Jet Iglesias. Bertucca retakes 10th place from Genis Civico. Behind him is Maxim Rem, the junior champion, the German junior champion, having his first run in KZ2. He raced with us at Franciacorta in OK. For RFM, has bid goodbye to the British team and now lines up for the Lennox Racing team in the Charles Leclerc chassis. Maxim Rem, P12 ahead of Pavel Tantori and David Trefilov in the 2nd Maranello kart. The German who was on the podium with that stunning last lap pass in round 1 of the championship at Lonato. But out front, CPB Sport go 1-2 with Emilian Danner in 1st place. Back to Senna Van Wallstein, Gustafsson, Marigliano, Jeremy in good form here this morning in P5. Artur Carbonell, Adrian Renaultan, the former European champion, the former WSK champion, on return from injury after missing the first round of the series. Also with fractured ribs, the new signing for the 5-time world champion, Danilo Rossi. Renaultan up into position 8 behind his countryman, Artur Carbonell. Marigliano in the Maranello. It is a mouthful, but it is a quick combination. Just goes into the final corner, too far back to make a move, goes in very deep under brakes. Here are the Soddy Kart drivers slipping through. Victor in P3 under attack from Alex. He's close enough to make a move. 146 k's an hour for the Sicilian that time. Watch down into turn 2. Victor holds off Alex for the moment. Emilian Danner skips away 0.6 of a second ahead of his teammate, who is the reigning WSK Supermaster Series champion, Senna Van Wallstein. Down the back straight on lap 6 of 13. Pre-final 8 for KZ2. Marigliano looks over his shoulder as Gustafsson puts the CRG in the middle of the circuit. Running in position 3, Gustafsson, the WSK Champions Cup champion from a couple of seasons ago, winning that title at Adria Karting Raceway for the Lennox Racing team. Now firmly implanted with the CRG Racing team, driving the Road Rebel chassis in position 3. Gives the slipstream to Marigliano. We'll check the speeds as they come across the line again. 146 k's an hour still, so still not doing the speeds that they were recording throughout the heats yet. Fastest driver on the circuit is Bertucca, unsurprisingly. After that first lap mishap, he's back into 6th place with a 53.863. He's 0.2 of a second faster than the leaders. He's on the back of Jeremy Iglesias. Marigliano looks over his shoulder, dives down the inside, goes deep under brakes. Marigliano in the Maranello, the Sicilian. dives down the inside. He's back in position 3. Sodikat first. Sodikat second. The SRP Maranello in 3rd place. In the CRGs of Victor Gustafsson and Jeremy Iglesias right behind them. Christian Cannibal starting to recover is the championship leader in position 6. Denner is gone. 1.2 seconds ahead of Centre Van Wallstein down into turn 2. They ride the rubber over the bumps here at the 1,550-metre circuit. That is Circuito Internazionale Napoli. There is Bertucca on the back of the world champion, Jeremy Iglesias. If he gets by him, next in line will be the reigning world champion, Victor Gustafsson. Both driving CRGs, and Christian Cannibal Bertucca deep under brakes and passes. First of all, the 34-year-old professional from France, Jeremy Iglesias. The 130 CRG back to P6. Victor in 131, the CRG Road Rebel in position 4, split by the Birol Art S15 chassis powered by the TM, tuned by Ficti Racing. Christian Bertucca, the pole sitter, with a disastrous start, but Il Cannibal is flying. Marigliano, the WSK Final Cup champion, the end of 2022 with that fantastic victory for Mike Sebecki's SRP Maranello team at Lonato to end last season. He'll get the slipstream from Centre Van Wallstein. They race down the old back straight. Watch Christian. Victor goes defensive, and with that they both lose time to Marigliano and Centre Van Wallstein. Denner disappears 1.3 seconds down the road. Make that 1.5 seconds through the next timing sector. Into the final corner, Marigliano has already decided to go down the inside before they even exited the left-hander. Il Siciliano up into 2nd place. Marigliano in the Maranello goes P2. Senna, the reigning WSK Supermaster Series champion, still desperately trying to defend his title. He's in P7 on 50 points despite missing round 1 of the championship at Lonato. Still in a hunt for the championship, going into the series final at Cremona on the 30th of April. Marigliano, P2. He's 5th in the series on 60 points. But he's P2 on the road here this morning in pre-final A. Emilian Denner 1.7 seconds clear off the battle for 2nd place. There is Bertucca. Victor back into P5. Jeremy P6, the 2 CRG drivers. Reynolds-Dard P7 in the TR kart, and he's found speed on his return from injury, the Frenchman. Fastest driver on the circuit, a 53.856. Still that time held by Christian Bertucca, who just clips the ripple strip, closes in on the back of Centre Van Wallstein. Wow, is Il Cannibal quick. He'll get the slipstream. Watch him make a move down the end of this, the old back straight. Senna surely cannot defend. Puts the kart in the middle of the circuit. Bertucca had decided by the exit of turn 8 that he was going to make a move into turn 9. The hairpin at the end of the old back straight. Bertucca recovers. He's back into position 3. Points for the pre-final, critical for the 2023 WSK Supermaster Series Championship. And the maximum pre-final points surely will go to Emilian Denner. He starts the penultimate lap of the race. P1 for the Frenchman, for the French team, the French cars here in the south of Italy. Denner for CPB Sport, driving the TM-powered Sodikat Sigma. Marigliano, the Sicilian, the SRP tuned TM on the Maranello kart, and the Ficti Racing tuned TM on the Birol S15 chassis of Christian Bertucca, who, remember, did start from pole position. Le prochain fois, le dernier tour pour Emilian Denner. This time, the last lap for Denner in P1. 1,550 metres to go off this circuit. Looks across to pit lane to see his mechanic. The gap 1.4 seconds. Marigliano in P2. Bertuca. Can the two Italians trade positions? Marigliano from Sicilia or from Sicily. Bertuca from Milan in the north of Italy, from opposite ends of this country, the home, the world home of world kart racing, if not the home of world motorsport. But it's the Frenchman who leads. Marigliano goes defensive. Gustafsson still in position 4. Bertuca throws it sideways over the ripple strip into the final corner. Can he make the move? Neither of them will catch. Denner. Marigliano holds on to second place. Le Drapeau à Damier for Ominion Denner. He wins pre-final A for KZ2. Marigliano in the Maranello P2. And Bertuca recovers for P3. Emilian Denner, the driver to beat his teammate Senna van Walstein, P5. Denner almost certainly to start from pole position, certainly the front row of the grid for the final. That is provisional. Put a big asterisk beside that statement. He'll be in contention for the final later this afternoon to take place at 20 minutes past 3 local time here in Italy. Denner wins the pre-final for CPB Sports Sodicat. Marigliano in P2 and Bertuca recovers for third place. Victor, the first of the CRGs, ahead of Senna van Walstein. Iglesias, Renaudin, Carbonell, the three French drivers, ahead of Jenna Civico for Modena Kart, and Pablo Tonteri in another CRG in P10. Travis Tenuto starting to find speed at the right time of the weekend, just 5 seconds off the race winner. That's encouraging. Gets the better of Riccardo Longhi, Trefilov, Luye, Norton, Maxim Rem, Maciej Proust, Valentino Fritsch, the German, ahead of Corentin Russo, his Maranello teammate. Amberg shooting, Diaudia, Giuliano Holzem, the Muscovite, Alexander Gubenko, Zuko, Bolfino. Should be Gabriel Kaiwa, Turkin. The final finisher is Victor, Nick Taylor, Cesar Galasan, the non-finishers, and unfortunately Igor Nosov did not make the start. Denner takes the victory from Marigliano. Pre-final B for KZ2 live from SARNO in just a moment. Pre-final B for KZ2, being led out by the local boy, Il Napolitano Giuseppe Palomba, who will start on pole position alongside his Birolart Racing teammate, Fast Freddie Slater. Maximilian Paul with a heat victory yesterday, the German for the DR Racing Car team ahead of the Franciacorta race winner Tom Luye, Viganov, Vasilev, Spiegel, Putyatin, Jalenta and Jean Nomblot. Ivan Ikelchik, Samuel Luye, George the Fisherman, that's Jorge Pescador, Yevon David, Moritz Hebner, Pedro, Michael Paparo, German Fortiv, Karol Pashovic, and the former Formula 3 driver from Argentina in the Lenzo kart, Giorgio Carrara. Bossetto, Scrivan, Piccini, back on 23 alongside Nielsen on 24, Mark Negruzza, D'Alessandro, Sandro Holzham, Tim Gerhards, Petra Kacirek, and Kabir Anurag is the Singaporean Vincent Vanegu, the Frenchman on debut in KZ2 for CPB Sports. Giuseppe Palomba, Il Napolitano in pole position. Gioca in casa questo weekend. He's playing at home this weekend, his local circuit, his home track. He's the two-time WSK Euro Series champion. Trying to take also the Supermaster Series title. Palomba fourth in the championship on 60 points. Fast Freddie, one of 5 world champions in the field here for round 3 of the WSK Supermaster Series. Out of grid 2, the first ever KZ2 race for Freddie Slater was the WSK Champions Cup, where he took pole position on the 27th day of January to start 2023. Freddie, the eldest of 5 Slater siblings. 127, the driver from the British Midlands, out of grid 2. Giuseppe 102, Freddie Slater 127. Tom Luye to the right of your screen, just behind the Birolart. The Tony Kart driver is the Franciacorta race winner on the outside second row of the grid. Pre-final B for KZ2. Over 20 kilometres, 13 laps here at SARNO. The Birolart team from Lissone lock out the front row of the grid. Palomba on pole position. We race. Fantastic start from Slater from the outside of the front row of the grid. The Brit nails the launch, and Fast Freddie goes through to lead in position 1. Palomba in second as they go down through the infield for the first time. Good start from Tom Luye. There is the Frenchman in the Tony Kart in third place. Daniel Vasilev, also the Romanian, 104, the pole sitter from Lonato, trying to make his presence felt. Tom with Maximilian Paul up the inside. And Matteo Viganò in the 117. Lennox Racing, Charles Leclerc kart. Good start from Matteo, the former SCUSA Super Nationals champion. There he is right in the middle of your screen. Behind the Frenchman, behind the Tony Kart driver, Tom Luye, who took victory at Franciacorta 2 weeks ago. Across the line for the first time. Palomba has retaken the lead away from Slater. As we were concentrating on that battle, the Birolart teammates trade positions, and Slater runs wide, turns in on the rubber, but lets Tom slip down the inside, and the Frenchman back into position 2. That is Viganò now in P4. Slater with that fantastic launch off the line. Now back into third place, and he's in trouble. Tries to fight back down the inside. Watch Viganò around the outside. Slater intelligently, defensively closes the door on Matteo Viganò. This is turning into a desperate race. All the while, Giuseppe Palomba on his home circuit rides the bumps. He's skipping away into the lead. Tom Luye, he'll get a good run as they come across the line to start lap 3. Maximilian Paul. What a start for the German. as Viganor slips down the inside. This time he takes Slater. Paul behind, the fastest through the speed trap. That time was Pedro Hilbrand. P11 at 146 k's an hour, so still a few off the top speed recorded through the speed trap throughout the week. Viganor, P3. Slater back to P4. Maximilian Paul in the Modena powered DR kart took victory with a super drive in his final heat last night. Also will be racing in the GT Open International Championship for the Oregon team, Lamborghini in 2023. But right now, he's fighting in the top 3 of the pre-final B. KZ2, the WSK Supermaster Series, the driver from Dresden in the middle of your screen. He's got Slater ahead. He's got Daniel Vasilev, the 6-time Romanian champion, behind. And Paloma skips away. He's got 0.8 of a second back to Tom Luye. And then this ferocious battle being led by Viganor, Slater, Maximilian Paul, Vasilev, Spergel, Slavik Woodyatin, Jean Nomblot, and Pedro up into P10. Marek Scriven down in position 18, but the young Czech in the Praga kart, 54.768. He's the fastest driver on the circuit. Marek in the Praga, even faster than Giuseppe Palomba, who's got the race lead. Now Maximilian Paul has to defend from 104. Daniel Vasilev, the driver from Pitești in Romania. Pole position, fastest qualifier for round 1 of the championship at Lonato. The 6-time Romanian karting masters champion, the former WSK Champions Cup champion as well. As Paul goes wide in the background, loses a ton of time. Vasilev slips on through, as does Spiegel. Maximilian Paul, he was in position 4. Took a heat win yesterday. We were just singing his praises, but he's come across the line to complete lap 4 in 11th place. A disastrous moment for the German. The driver from Dresden, now ahead of Samuel Luye, Jean Nomblot, Michael Paparo, and Yevon the Bat David. Scriven up into P16. Still the fastest driver on the circuit, just ahead of Alessio Piccini, Jorge Pescador, and Giorgio Carrara. Viganor, Lennox Racing, P3. Good return to form for Il Bergamasco. Multiple international victories in his career. The Super Cup, we think back to Genk in Belgium in a private top kart when he took victory in KZ2 in the Euro Champs 2016. And of course, winning the Las Vegas Super Nationals Championship as well. He's in P3 at the moment. 0.7 of a second off Tom Luye, who won 2 weeks ago at Franciacorta for the Tony Kart Racing team. Tom Luye is actually catching Palomba. The rest of the field going on through. That's Slavik Woodyatin for the Falcon Racing team, the Ukrainian in position 8. He was 3rd in the season opening WSK Champions Cup on January 29. He's following through, one of 5 former world champions and current world champions in the field, Pedro Hilbrand and Spiegel for CPB Sport up into position 6. Half race distance, pre-final B for KZ2. Eduardo Di Alessandro and Petra Kacirek have unfortunately retired. Sandro Holzham, the final runner, just behind the Singaporean Kabir Anurag in the Kart Republic, 171. Chalenta down in 22nd place on his home circuit as well. There's Vasilev going through, Spiegel, Hilbrand, Woodyatin. Another good drive from German Fortev. That was the 168 Energy kart you saw going through. He's in position 9. It was not long ago. Would you believe German Fortev was racing 60 Mini? He's now inside the top 10 in KZ2. Viganor closes in on the back of Tom Luye. Second half of pre-final B for KZ2. Yevon David's had a problem. The Sri Lankan has also joined the list of retirements. Viganor on the back of Tom Luye. And in the background, Slater puts down a 54 dead, 007. Slater with the fastest lap of the race so far. Trying to bridge the gap to Viganor, Tom Luye. 1.2 seconds between Giuseppe Palomba and Tom Luye. Tom was actually catching the local driver, the race leader earlier on, but now Il Napolitano is pulling away. Will not be beaten on his home circuit. That was the abandoned cart of Eduardo Di Alessandro, who's retired, along with Kacirek and Yevon David as well. Into the final corner, watch Vigano close enough to make a move, dives down the inside, deep under brakes. Vigano goes through, puts the cart intelligently in the middle of the circuit. Tom back to position 3. The gap is 1.5 seconds from Palomba back to the battle for second, which is now also the battle for second, third and fourth, because Fast Freddy as well is on the back of the Franciacorta race winner. 54.007 for Freddie Slater. He'll get the slipstream as well from Tom in the Vortex-powered Tony kart. As Vigano looks over his shoulder, Slater too far back to make a move. Slater, the fastest driver on the circuit, a rocket launch for the Brit off the start. Vigano not really able to pull away from the Tony kart of Tom behind, who has to defend from Slater. Can he do it? Dives down the inside. What a move by Freddie. Launched that from a mile back, and the early race leader goes through and passes the Franciacorta round 2 race winner. Tom back to P4. 3.5 laps remaining here this morning. Pre-final beat for KZ2. Round 3, the WSK Supermaster Series, here on an increasingly cloudy day at SARNO. There is no rain forecast. The sun is shining in past, but you can see there is cloud cover coming in off the back of that, the active volcano that is Mount Vesuvius in the south of Italy. Palomba, 1.7 seconds clear of Matteo Vigano. Slater up into P3. The former world champion also racing selected grounds of the British Ginetta Series in 2023. Raced a couple of times last year. Actually took a rookie victory in his first ever car race in the Ginetta Series at just 14 years of age at, I reckon it was Thruxton in 2023. This super talent. We speak about the former Ricky Flynn Motorsport drivers on the Formula One grid. There's 4 out of 20 who have come from RFM. Freddie had so much success with the British team. Come back to us in 5 years' time and see where Freddie stands in the world of motorsport. On the back of Vigano, this is lap 11 of 13. KZ2, the pre-final. A 53.969 now for Slater, the fastest driver on the circuit. The only driver under the 54-second bracket, in fact, as he closes in on the back of Il Bergamasco, Matteo Vigano. Rights the bucks. Accelerates, we'll check them down through the speed trap this time. 141 for Palomba. He's backed it off. 144 for Slater. They're all coasting to the checkered flag now, trying to cement a place on the grid for the final this afternoon. 145 k's an hour for Slavik Putyatin in the Falcon racing car. 153 k's an hour, the top speed recorded by KZ2. Both through the speed trap and on the telemetry from the various teams here at SARNO this weekend. Round 3 of the WSK Supermaster Series. And Palomba, desperate to take the victory, ended up in the wall last time out at Franciacorta. Emilian Terna and Giuseppe Palomba, it looks as though they will share the front row of the grid for the final. They both came to grief in contact, crashing in the final at Franciacorta. Let's hope history does not repeat. They're likely to share the front row of the grid for the final because Palomba is on his last lap. Vigano should hold off Slater, you would think. There's Tom settled in 4th place. Tom Mouillet, Matteo Spiegel, Hilbrandt's worked his way up to 6th. Ahead of Vasile, Fotev, Jean Nomblot and Moritz Edna goes by Slavik Putyatin for 10th place. Since the final lap of the race, Palomba will win. He's backed it right off because they've taken half a second out of Il Napolitano, coasting to the checkered flag into the final corner. Down through the gearbox, now accelerates. The checkered flag waves for Il Napolitano. Giuseppe Palomba wins on his home circuit pre-final B from Viganò, and Fast Freddy home in third place. They crashed into the wall on lap 2 of the final at Franciacorta, but Emilian Tanner and Giuseppe Palomba provisionally, we believe they will share the front row of the grid. So the battle will rage on from Franciacorta 2 weeks ago here at the home circuit of Palomba. There is the active volcano, that is Mount Vesuvius. But the action, forgive the cliche, it is erupting on track here at Sarno this weekend. Palomba wins it from Viganò. Slater, Luguet, Matteo Spiegel, Hilbrand, Vasilet, German Forte, P8 in the energy. Jean Notlo and Moritz Ebner in position 10. We'll take a very short break here at Sarno. We'll be back with our final 2 pre-finals of the morning, starting with OK pre-final A and Yannick Sharovsky to start out of P1 in just a moment. here at SARNO for OK Pre-Final A here this morning with Yannick Shirovsky, the pole to start from pole alongside the round one winner, James Agozzi. This is the grid. The Tony Kart drivers lock out the front row. Thomas Stralvan, the BNL champion, out of 3. Out of 4, Luigi Coluccio. Sebastiano Pavan, 4 Tony Karts inside the top 5. Olivieri, Gustav Wisniewski, Jaakko Kamenik, Artur Pulan, and the reigning world champion, Matthias Morgato, his first European race for 2023. Maciej Guadic, Nathan Tai, Miguel Costa, second race for the Paralympic team. Welcome back, Mark Kastelic, Andrea Dupé, Newman Chi, Pachowski, Maximilian Kahan, Roland Kuplane, Sergio Koch for Innovate Competition, and Julie Valova for the Czech Republic on the 11th row of the grid. Georgi Vazovsky also making his WSK debut, 293 in the Energy Course Kart on the 9th row of the grid alongside Maximilian Kahan. But look at the green team. First, second, fourth, fifth on the grid. Shirovsky, the pole, on pole position, leads the field around 13 laps. Pre-final A for OK. Raises the right arm, so likely we'll get another formation lap, which indeed we do. We don't race. Another 1,550 metres to warm up the LeConte tyres here at SARNO on a very cool morning. The graphic is telling us 15 degrees Celsius. I highly doubt that. In fact, I don't reckon that's even close. If we're into double figures, I'll be surprised. Nevertheless, Yannick Shirovsky, an extra lap to lead the field around and get a little bit more temperature into the LeConte tyres. Damn, I wish there'd be a little bit more temperature in the commentary studio here at SARNO. It is freezing here this morning. Springtime here in Italy, just a few weeks away, apparently. I find that hard to believe also. Shirovsky on pole position. James Agozzi from Florida. His home state, of course, hosting the St. Petersburg IndyCar season opener this weekend. James, the Lonato race winner, 2:04 starting out of 2. Thomas Stralvan for Ricky Flynn Motorsport, the BNL champion, 2:26 in the Lando Norris kart. There's Gustav, 2:29 on the inside 4th row of the grid. Shirovsky, the pole, on pole position. We race. Agozzi on the outside, tries to hold on. Thomas up the inside, splits the Tony Kart entries in the Ricky Flynn Motorsport Lando Norris kart. Agozzi back into position 4. Now he recovers a position. There is Sebastiano Pavan and Luigi Coluccio, but Yannick Shirovsky leads the field down through the infield for the first time. Clean start for OK Pre-Final A here at SARNO this afternoon. Down the back straight. Superstar from Coluccio. There's Agozzi in P3. The Tony Kart racing team. First, second, third, fourth, and fifth. What a dominant performance. What a dominant start for the Tony Kart racing team. We can see. And we'll ask ourselves if they can hold on to that position later on in the race. They're only split by Thomas Stralvan, who's gone back to P4. There is the Belgian in the Lando Norris kart. The Tony Kart racing team now first, second, third, and fifth. It is Shirovsky, Coluccio in P3. Agozzi. There's Wisniewski in the background for the Forza racing team. The first non-OTK kart is the Formula K of Emanuele Olivieri, who won here last year for the Formula K team. It is a green machine, but it is bottle green in colour. Triple 2 is Olivieri behind Wisniewski. Morgato, the reigning world champion, ahead of Jaakko Kamenik, Maciej Guadic, Artur Pulan, and Nathan Tai. 20 drivers making the start, 20 still circulating, being led by Yannick Shirovsky. There's James down the inside and takes Luigi Coluccio back to P3. That's Sebastiano Pavan, 2:05, the Italian. Also for the Tony Kart racing team, Wisniewski looks good for the Forza racing team. Maciej Tune TM Engines for the Polish driver for the proudly English team. The fluorescent orange X-Spree cart behind the Lando Norris cart of the BNL champion of the young Belgian, Thomas Strolvan. Swarovski has got the race lead for the Tony Kart racing team. Goes down the back straight. The gap is 0.4 of a second on lap 3 of 13. Pre-final A for OK. Round 3 of the WSK Supermaster Series as Pavard now makes a move. Sebastian up into position 3. Rides the bumps, does Swarovski. Agotzi's catching him. Agotzi with a purple sector, another purple sector as well. The gap last time, 0.39. You can see it's only a card length. Officially, it's 0.18 of a second. As they flash across the start-finish line, 137 k's an hour for Wisniewski. As James down the inside of turn 2, the American goes position 1. James Agotzi, already a WSK Euro Series champion. Can he win the WSK Supermasters Series for 2023? He is the championship leader on 119 points. After the first round victory at Lonato, a tough run last time out at Franciacorta for James Agotzi, finishing P7 in the final behind Emanuele Olivieri, who's P7 here this morning. There's the Formula K car just at the back of the pack, which has been dominated by the OTK, in particular the Tony Kart Racing team entries, as Thomas retakes the place. The Belgian back into position 4, goes by Sebastiano Pavard. Coluccio, P3. Wisniewski in the X-Free kart. Maciej Guadic has worked his way up into position 8. The all-in-back Ricky Flynn Motorsport driver from Tarnów in Poland, the second generation racer. Maciej Guadic, the 2020 WSK Mini Open Cup champion from a couple of seasons ago, winning those titles at Adria. We'll get a glimpse of the pole. There he is, goes through, head of Jakob Kamenek, and you just saw a few moments ago, a few corners ago, the change for second and third, Coluccio. And Yannick Swarovski, the early race leader, is now being caught, also by Thomas Strolvan. Sebastian on the outside, watch Wisniewski. Gustav up the inside, goes wheel to wheel, the pole goes through. His MP5 takes Sebastian Pavard. Agotzi, the race leader from Coluccio. Jakob Kamenek, the fastest driver on the circuit, 54.178, 14 Komoto. Jakob in the TM Power Tony Kart 235. There he is, right on the back of the pole, Maciej Guadic. James, the American, has got the race lead, 0.4 of a second. Luigi in second place. Thomas, the Belgian, the BNL champion. The Ricky Flynn Motorsport driver in the Lando Norris kart just shadows Luigi Coluccio, who is lining up for his second season for Ferrari in the Italian GT3 Championship, starting in April. Later on in 2023, he's just been passed by Thomas. What a move by Coluccio. Luigi did not like that, looked over his right shoulder, unimpressed with the young Belgian, but Thomas is quick. Ricky Flynn Motorsport, as we mentioned, 20 drivers to start the Bahrain Formula One Grand Prix later on this afternoon. 4 out of 20 are Ricky Flynn Motorsport drivers. Zhou Guan Yu, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, and the new Williams driver from American, Logan Sargent, who is also the 2016 WSK Champions Cup champion. And Thomas now flies the flag for Ricky's British team, as Swarovski and Coluccio, the two Tony Kart teammates, trade places. Thomas is actually setting off after James Agotzi. The second half of pre-final A. The second half, I should say. I told you it was cold here. And we are getting tongue-tied a little bit here in Sarno at the tail end of the Italian winter. Trying to speak the Queen's English correctly. It's the American in P1 from Thomas, the Belgian. Swarovski, Coluccio, the Tony Kart Racing team, first, third and fourth. Olivieri, there's the Formula K on 2 wheels. Through turn 5, the Formula K up into P5. He's got the better of Sebastiano Pavard. The 2 poles, Guadic, Wisniewski in 7 and 8. In fact, 3 poles inside the top 8 because Yannick Swarovski is still in position 3. Coluccio on your screen, 203. WSK Open Cup champion from 2018. Multiple international champion. Is in P4. Stralvan. The gap is down to 0.4 of a second. Sharovsky responds with a 54 dead. Sharovsky is 0.2 of a second faster than his American teammate, with 4.5 laps remaining in pre-final A of OK. Round 3, the WSK Supermaster Series. Olivieri goes through. Pavan, Wisniewski, Guadic, Kamenek, for Tinkamoto, Poulan, and Miguel Costa fighting the bumps, as is every driver here this weekend. Second race for the new team for Miguel Costa. Remember, he was on the podium in P2 in the WSK Open Cup in 2022 at Lonato, where we race next weekend, the first round of the all-new look WSK Open Series. Miguel Costa in position 11 now with Team Paralin 236 in 11th place. Thomas, the gap is down to 1/10 of a second. He'll make a move here. He's still got 3.5 laps remaining. The gap was half a second. And now he shadows the American, the round 1 winner. He'll get the run down the back straight, both using Vortex power plants. James from the factory team. Thomas, one engine's tuned Vortex on the Ricky Flynn Motorsport Lando Norris kart. James goes defensive. Thomas tries to get him on the exit. Watch Sharovsky as well. The Dyke stages of pre-final A here at SARNO. It's a 3-kart fight. 2 from the Tony Kart Racing team. Thomas from Ricky Flynn Motorsport tries to find a way by, but James goes defensive too much, so he leaves the door open over the ripple strip. Thomas has to get out of the throttle, and Sharovsky drives on by the Belgian, as does Luigi Coluccio. Thomas closes the door, holds off Luigi just for the moment. Incredibly, James has held on to it. Defensive, slow onto the straight, but tactically brilliant. That was a fabulous move from James Agozzi. He was a sitting duck. Just closed the door, edged over ever so slightly as Thomas retakes second place. And Stralvan had to get out of the throttle. Sharovsky passed him. Now Coluccio's on the back of him as well. And with that, James Agozzi, they were side by side. He was virtually gone for the race lead as Coluccio down the inside. And Sharovsky follows him on through. And now the Tony Kart Racing team, first, second and third. 2 laps remaining. The gap was just centimetres. Now James Agozzi is 1.2 seconds clear. Olivieri trying to break the OTK stranglehold. P5 in the Formula K. Sebastiano Pavan in P6, ahead of Wisniewski, Guadic, Poulan, and now Miguel Costa goes by Jaco Kamenek for Team Komoto, and the Brazilian-American from Monte Carlo, second time for Team Paralin. Second race for Team Paralin, now inside the top 10, ahead of Jaco Kamenek. Nathan Tai, welcome back to Marcus Stelic. Yuman Chi, Maximilian Kahan, Matias Morgato struggling is the reigning world champion, who took that famous victory on this very circuit last year. Roland Kuklane, Georgi Vatovsky, Sergio Koch, and the final runner, Juliet Valova. Final lap now for James on his way for victory in pre-final A, the championship leader, the Lonato Race 1 winner. Down the back straight as the rest of the field turn in, out of turn 8. The gap 1.6 seconds, fastest driver on the circuit. Yannick Sharovsky with a 54 dead, has Thomas in third place, defends from Olivieri, the first non-OTK kart. That's Pavan in the background. James Agozzi on his way to victory in pre-final A. We have to wait to see who will finish in position 3. It may well be Olivieri. Runs into the back of the Tony kart, costs him on the exit. That checkered flag waves. Agozzi wins pre-final A from Coluccio, Sharovsky, Olivieri, Thomas in position 5. Sebastiano Pavan, P6 from Wisniewski. Guadic, the 2 Polish drivers, 7 and 8. Poulan, Miguel Costa, Jakub Kamenik, Nathan Tye, Marcus Delic, Newman Chi, Matthias Morgato. P15 struggling home, and his first European race for 2023. Ahead of Maximilian Kahan, Roland Kuklane, George Vakovsky, Sergio Koch, and Julia Valova just gets the checkered flag now. As the final runner, 20 starters, 20 take the checkered flag to finish pre-final A, which is won by the championship leader from the United States of America, the Lonato race winner, James Agozzi, Coluccio 2, and Yannick Shorosky in third place. The Tony Kart Racing Team first, second, and third. And then comes Olivieri. 9 pre-finals raced here this morning, 1 remaining before we race our finals. It's not too far away. In theory, in 24 minutes time for our first final this afternoon. Pre-final B for OK. Stay with us on wsk.it. Also watching us on Motorsport TV around the world. Round 3 of the WSK Supermaster Series will move straight into pre-final B for OK here at SARNO, as the sun tries to make its way through the clouds which hang over Mount Vesuvius. That is the active volcano which erupted with catastrophic consequences in 79 AD. Also during 1944, and for the last time it rumbled in the late 1970s as well. Let's hope it stays quiet for the rest of the day. Pre-final B as the cars come out onto the circuit for OK. David Walter, the Great Dane, to start on pole position, the Franciacorta race winner, alongside René Lammers, who many are picking, the 3-time WSK champion from Zandvoort, to take victory here this afternoon. For the Paralympic Motorsport team, Martin Molnar, Thomas Stoltemanis, the Energy Karts on the second row of the grid. Jimmy and Maxence Verbruge, the French drivers, on the third row of the grid. Marcus Sata and Adam Hideg on the fourth row. Joel Bergstrom, first time out with the Birrell Art Racing Team. Shimo Chung, Apicella, Michalidis, Giulio Olivieri, Max Angelad, Leon Headforce, Zoe Flores Kupotalea, Ryan Vincent, Ling Zhang Wang, Ivan Botzedemov, Wojciech Taruska, and Maya Manigan. She starts on the 11th row of the grid. David Walter leads the field around. Pre-final B for OK. No chance of a start this time. Another formation lap. David Walters second in the championship on 91 points. Remember, he did not make the start for round 1 of the championship at Lonato, out on the formation lap. He won the Champions Cup a week prior on January 29, and he fought back brilliantly to lead home Jimmy Helias for a Tony Kart 1-2, Koski Motorsport and Ward Racing. First and second at Franciacorta 2 weeks ago. There is the Great Dane. David Walter, 201 for Koski Motorsport. René Lammers, GFR tuned TM engine on the Paralympic chassis. And the Energy Karts on the second row of the grid. This is interesting because Martin Molnar with a Matchak tuned tuned TM engine, and Thomas Stoltemanis, GFR tuned TM, both on the Energy Karts. They were second and third on the podium behind Walter in the season opening WSK Champions Cup. The team from Bergamo, the Energy Karts, third and fourth on the grid. Watch Jimmy Helias on the inside of the third row. We race. Lammers tries the high line, holds on, and incredibly comes through into second place. Walter's got the lead, but under attack from René. The first of the Energy Cars on the outside goes Martin Molnar. And Jimmy in P5, exactly where the Frenchman started, looking for his fourth podium in only 5 OK starts. Walter leads down the back straight for the first time. Good start by René Lammers, the traditional outside front row of the grid. It's a deficit, it's a disadvantage, but he's held on nicely. The Energy up into second place though, as they go down for the infield for the first of 13 times. Pre-final B for OK here this morning. Walter with a nice lead. Lummers looking to take back position 2. We'll check the gap back from Walter. At the moment, it's the Energy cart in second place of Thomas. The gap 0.3 of a second. Watch Rene Lummers trying to respond. The Paralin is particularly quick later on in the race. Jimmy already goes by Martin Molnar, who's also been passed by the second Ward Racing Tony Kart. Jimmy P4, Marcus in P5. They go down the back straight for the second time. David in position 1. Thomas Stoltemanis is slow at the exit of turn 8. He knows it. Rene over the ripple strip, almost into the grass. Gets airborne in the Paralin, and Jimmy tries to attack. The slightest error from Thomas Stoltemanis. He knew it. Went defensive, just drifted over. Rene will be absolutely furious with that. Watch him attack into the final corner. Runs into the back of Stoltemanis, who closes the door on the Dutchman. David Walter is gone while they fight for second place. The Great Dane, the front quarter race winner, he's skipping away. He's got 1.4 seconds over for the moment. Thomas Stoltemanis, Lummers. Sarta goes by Helias for B4. The Ward Racing drivers from Norway and France respectively in 4th and 5th. Back to Molnar, Shimojang, Joel Bergstrom with a super start up into P8. First time out for Birulat. The Swede had not even sat in that kart prior to Wednesday. There he is in the background, just ahead of Maxence Fabrouge, his Birulat teammate. Joel Bergstrom, who finished off 2022 with a victory, an unexpected victory. Last minute call-up to race in the Rotax World Finals. And now he finds himself racing for the Birulat factory team. First time out in round 3 of the WSK Supermaster Series as Helias runs wide. David across the line, the gap 1.4 seconds last time, 2.3 seconds. Back to Thomas, the WSK Open Cup champion from 2022. Defending from Lummers, who's getting frustrated. Says, move over, boy, here I come. Lummers into position 2. Intolerant had enough and says, I'm coming by whether you like it or not. And Lummers has already put 3 kart lengths on the Latvian in 3rd place. There's Helias. Marcus Sarta was in the background. Now Jimmy into P3. Sarta on the outside. Shimojang also driving superbly this weekend, the Hong Kong driver in the IAME Powered Kart Republic. You can pick the plain white, unpainted Arrow helmet. There he is in the centre of your screen. Marcus makes the move and goes on through. That is Bergstrom as well. So the 2 Scandinavian drivers both take Shimojang from Hong Kong. Sarta P6, Bergstrom up into P7. This is an impressive performance from Joel Bergstrom. Did not even sit in the car prior to Wednesday. A last-minute call-up for the Birulat team. No expectations on the young Swede, but he's already in position 7. As you look at Lummers skip away, not from Stoltemanis, but Jimmy in P3. Martin Molnar behind his Energy Force teammate. David Walter, the gap 1.4 seconds, 2.3 seconds, 2.8 seconds is now 3 seconds as we approach the second half of pre-final B. Lummers in second place. Martin Molnaro, a 53.944, the only driver under the 54-second bracket, the Hungarian in P5. The 53.944, so marginally faster than the race leader on your screen down the old back straight. It is David Walter into the old hairpin. Lummers, Helias, Thomas Stoltemanis and Martin Molnar, the Energy carts, started on the second row of the grid, 3 and 4. They run 4 and 5 ahead of Sarta, Bergstrom, Picella, Verbruge, Giulio Olivieri. Rounds out the 10 as Thomas takes 3rd place away from Jimmy. Let's see if his Hungarian teammate can follow him through. There's Molnar with the fastest lap of the race a few moments ago. Down the start finish rate, 136 k's an hour that time. Clips the ripple strip, does Martin Molnar. Gets an extra few engine RPM. Accelerates as they go down the back straight. I was going to say that he'll get the slipstream ever so slightly from Jimmy Helias, but Jimmy sits very low behind the steering wheel. Martin, one of the taller drivers in the OK field. So not much of an advantage. Martin Molnar, as we say, the Match Act tune TM engine. Joachim Ward tuning the Vortex power plant on the Tony card, but into the final corner, riding the bumps nicely, is the Energy card. Jimmy from third, back to fourth, back to P5. We start lap 8 of 13, our final pre-final of the morning. David Walter, 2.5 seconds back to Rene Lammers, who did set a purple sector in that lap. So Lammers is quick. Can he take victory here this afternoon? James Zagotzi winning round 1 of the WSK Supermaster Series. David Walter winning the WSK Champions Cup season opener and also round 2 of the Supermaster Series. You would think he would have a comfortable lead had he have not gone out on the formation lap at Lonato. Got 0 points from the final that day. Made up for it at Franciacorta and he's making up for it again today. 5 laps to the checkered flag in pre-final B. The 2 Energy cars trade positions. Stolchamanis in 2-1-2, Martin Molnar 2-1-1. And they do so again. That gives Jimmy Elias hope. Took his first ever senior OK podium here at the WSK Final Cup. At the end of 2022, did Jimmy. 3 podiums in 4 OK starts for Jimmy Elias. P2 behind David Walter, the current pre-final leader at Franciacorta, looking to stand on the top step. Here's Jimmy Helias, mentored by current Alpine F1 driver Esteban Ocon, who's about to kick off the FIA Formula One World Championship later on this afternoon at Bahrain. Jimmy from Marcus. Antonio Apicella has driven well. He's up into position 7 for team driver. That deserves some effort, some credit. That effort, he's ahead of Maxence Verbruge, Joel Bergström, the 2 Birol Art drivers, Adam Hiteg, Olivier Vassilios, Michaelidis. That's the Greek Ethiopian in position 12. Off screen, he's ahead of Zoe Florescu-Potalea. She's having another good run, first time out, first season for the Tony Kart racing team. Part of the FIA Girls on Track program. Zoe, not far outside the top 10. She's ahead of Max Angelada, Ling Changwan, Bodzedemov, Ryan Vincent, the Californian, Shimo Zhang, Leon Headforce, Tarushka and Maya Manigan rounds out the field. The Energy cards, 3rd and 4th. That's exactly where they started on the grid. Molnar started P3. That's where he runs. His teammate from Latvia, the WSK Open Cup champion, right behind Jimmy Helias in P5 for Ward Racing. 2 laps remaining at the end of this one. Apicella going through in 7th place, just ahead of Verbruge and Bergström. Olivieri, Adam Hiteg, Vassilios Michaelidis, Zoe Florescu-Potalea, Angelad, Ling Zhangwang. On this, the penultimate lap of the race. Jimmy actually closing up ever so slightly on the back of Thomas Stolchamanis. They're controlling the pace. Just on 2 kilometres to race here this morning. Our first final coming your way, not too far from now, at 10 minutes to 2 local time, which is in about 10 minutes from now, believe it or not. David Walter looking to start the final from pole position alongside James Agozzi for round 3 of the WSK Supermaster Series here at SARNO. This is the last lap of the race. David Walter from pole position has controlled the pace. There's Jimmy going through in position 5, ahead of his Ward Racing teammate Marcus Sarta. Apicella, Maxence for Bruges, Joel Bergstrom, Adam Hideg now inside the top 10. Here's the Hungarian. Adam for the Saudi car team finished P2 in the World Championship at this very circuit in 2022. He's in P10 ahead of Giulio Olivieri and Vasilios for Forza Racing, just outside the top 10 ahead of Zoe Florescu-Potalea. Lammers has been caught by both the 2 energy carts. The final few corners, here's an opportunity though for Molnar. It's come down to this. Rene Lammers looks over his shoulder, defends very much so, just drives in the middle of the circuit. David Walter takes the checkered flag. The energy drivers, 3rd and 4th, Lammers in P2 from Molnar, Stoltemanis, Elias, Sarta, Apicella, Maxence for Bruges and Joel Bergstrom, the 2 Beryl art drivers cross the line. Olivieri, Hideg, that's Zoe Florescu-Potalea going through. Head of Angelad, Jingwan, Sheng, Botenemov, Ryan Vincent, Leon Headforce, Taruska, Vasilios Mikalidis has had an incident on the very last lap of the race. As Maya Menigan comes across the line to take the checkered flag, and Vasilios does not. So David Walter takes the victory here at SARNO, and with that, the grids are set. We'll take a very short break. We'll be back here in just a few moments' time for the first of our 5 finals here this afternoon. You're watching us live on WSK.it. The junior final in 10 minutes from now, round 3 of the WSK Supermaster Series, live from SARNO.